Okay, guys, so story time. Let's go. Let me start reading. I want to tell you a story of short-sightedness on the one hand and ingratitude on the other. The USSR collapsed for a reason. Its economy stopped working. And before that, there was still not enough for people. But in the 1980s, the country was on the verge of starvation. Soviet stores were empty. In 1991, the USSR collapsed. For some reason, US analytics on Eastern Europe decided that Russia had become democratic just because the name changed. And the United States began sending humanitarian aid to Russia. In the US, it was called Operation Provide Hope. For several years, thousands of tons of food were sent by cargo planes. Cheap chicken legs from the USA began to appear in Russian stores. People nicknamed them Bush's legs. By 1997, this and other programs sent aid to the countries that were part of the former USSR in the amount of $41 billion. This is at exchange rate of the 1990s. Russia has not stopped being evil. It was just weak, but instead of taking away its nuclear weapons, as the United States did with Ukraine, and allowing other nations in Russia to have their own independent states, for example, Chechnya, Tatarstan, and dozens of others, the United States helped evil to gain strength again. Already in the 1990s, Russia occupied parts of Moldova, Georgia, and Azerbaijan with proxy wars. It drowned Chechnya in blood for wanting to become independent, and Russians began to write the words on Washington on improvised missiles. They want a nuclear strike on the United States, like during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and they have always wanted to, even when they took humanitarian aid. Let's look at why this is happening. Who in the United States shapes the opinion of politicians about Eastern Europe? The problem is that in the Western world, Slavic studies, or the study of Eastern Europe, really means the study of Russia. Not the real Russia, but its mask for the outside world. Russian literature, ballet, and so on. They think that this is Russia, but in reality, it is a monster that has been out for blood for centuries. After graduating from universities, these people become analysts, advisors, strategists. They have not studied anything about Eastern European countries other than Russia, and they look at this region through the eyes of Moscow. What do we have today? These experts concluded in early 22 that Ukraine would lose in a few days. They advised American politicians to approach Zelensky with a proposal to evacuate from Ukraine. For the first 2 months, they supplied only light weapons for guerrilla war. And then the same experts developed the theory of escalation regulation, which obviously does not work. Why didn't they lose their jobs after so many failures? Perhaps because they will be replaced by the same people, because they learn the same things. Perhaps it's time to study other European countries. Maybe they should ask these countries about Russia. Rhetorical questions. Thank you, Prometheus UA. Brilliantly set up. I really agree with it 100%. Thank you for actually touching the topic of those studies of so-called Russian culture.